Saint Augustine commentary on Psalm 75 following. Be not therefore lifted up, speak not iniquity against God. Verse 5. What says he in another psalm? These things you have done, having enumerated certain sins. These things you have done, he says, and was silent. What is I was silent? He is never silent with commandment, but meanwhile he is silent with punishment. He is keeping still from vengeance. He does not pronounce sentence against the condemned. But this man says thus, I have done such and such things, and God has not taken vengeance. Behold, I am whole, naught of ill has befallen me. These things you have done, and I was silent. You have suspected iniquity, that I shall be like unto you. What is that I shall be like unto you? Because you are unjust. Even me you have deemed unjust, as thou an approver of your misdeeds, and no adversary, no avenger thereof. And what afterwards says he to you? I will convict you, and will set you before your own face. What is this? Because now by sinning behind your back you set yourself, seest not yourself, examinest not yourself. I will set you before yourself, and will bring upon you punishment from yourself. So also here, speak not iniquity against God. Attend. Many men speak this iniquity, but dare not openly, lest as blasphemers they be abhorred by godly men. In their heart they gnaw upon these things. Within they feed upon such impious food. It delights them to speak against God, and if they break not out with tongue, in heart they are not silent. Whence in another psalm is said, the fool has said in his heart, there is no God. The fool has said, but he has feared men. He would not say it where men might hear. And he said it in that place where he might himself hear, concerning whom he said it. Therefore, here also in this psalm, dearly beloved, attend, whereas that which he said, do not speak iniquity against God, this he saw many men do in heart. He has also added, for neither from east, nor from west, nor from the deserts of the mountains, verse 6. For God is judge, verse 7. Of your iniquities God is judge. If God hears, everywhere he is present. Whither will you take yourself away from the eyes of God, so that in some quarter you may speak that which he may not hear? If from the east God judges, withdraw into the west and say what you will against God. If from the west, go into the east and there speak. If from the deserts of the mountains he judges, go into the midst of the peoples, where you may murmur to yourself. From no place judges he that everywhere is secret, everywhere open, whom it is allowed no one to know as he is, and whom no one is permitted not to know. Take heed what you doest. You are speaking iniquity against God. The Spirit of the Lord has filled the round world. Another scripture says this, and that which contains all things has knowledge of the voice, wherefore he that speaks unjust things can be hid. Wisdom 1, 7 and 8. Do not therefore think God to be in places. He is with you, such an one as you shall have been. What is such an one as you shall have been? Good if you shall have been good, and evil to you he will seem, if evil you shall have been. But a helper if good you shall have been, and avenger if evil you shall have been. There you have a judge in your secret place. Willing to do something of evil, from the public you retire into your house, where no enemy may see. From those places of your house which are open, and before the eyes of men, you remove yourself into a chamber. You fear even in your chamber some witness from some other quarter. You retire into your heart. There you meditate. He is more inward than your heart. Whithersoever therefore you shall have fled, there he is. From yourself whither will you flee? Will you not follow yourself whithersoever you shall flee? But since there is one more inward even than yourself, there is no place whither you may flee from God angry, but to God reconciled. There is no place at all whither you may flee. Will you flee from him? Flee to him. What then shall we do now? Let us come before his face. En exomologesei in Greek. Come before in confession. He shall come gentle whom you had made angry. Neither from the deserts of the mountains, for God is judge, nor from the east, nor from the west, not from the deserts of the mountains. Wherefore, for God is judge. If in any place he were, he would not be God. But because God is judge, not man, do not expect him out of places. His place you will be, if you are good, if after having confessed you shall have invoked him. One he humbles, another he exalts. Verse 7. Whom humbles, whom exalts this judge? Observe these two men in the temple, and you see whom he humbles and whom he exalts. They went up into the temple to pray, he says, the one a Pharisee and the other a publican. Verily I say unto you, that publican went down justified more than that Pharisee. For everyone that exalts himself shall be humbled, and he that humbles himself shall be exalted. Thus has been explained the verse of this psalm. God the judge does what? One he humbles, another he exalts. He humbles the proud, he exalts the humble. For the cup in the hand of the Lord of pure wine is full of mixed. Verse 8. Justly so. And he has poured out of this upon this man, nevertheless the drag thereof has not been emptied. There shall drink all the sinners of earth. Let us be somewhat recruited. Let us be somewhat recruited. There is here some obscurity. The first question that meets us is this: of pure wine it is full of mixed. How of pure if of mixed? But when he says the cup in the hand of the Lord, to men instructed in the church of Christ I am speaking, you ought not indeed to paint in your heart God as it were circumscribed with a human form, lest thou the temples are shut up, you forge images in your hearts. This cup therefore does signify something. We will find out this. But in the hand of the Lord is in the power of the Lord. For the hand of God is spoken of for the power of God. For even in reference to men of times is said, in hand he has it, that is, in his power he has it. When he chooses, he does it. O pure wine, it is full of mixed. In continuation, he has himself explained. He has inclined. He says, from this unto this man, Nevertheless, the drag thereof has not been emptied. Behold how it was full of mixed wine. Let it not therefore terrify you that it is both pure and mixed, pure because of the genuineness thereof, mixed because of the drag. What then in that place is the wine, and what the drag? And what is he has inclined from this unto this man in such sort that the drag thereof was not emptied? Call ye to mind from whence he came to this. One he humbles, and another he exalts. That which was figured to us in the gospel through two men, a Pharisee and a publican, Luke 18:10. This let us, taking in a wider sense, understand of two peoples, of Jews and of Gentiles. The people of the Jews that Pharisee was, the people of the Gentiles that publican, as those by being proud have withdrawn, so these by confessing have drawn near. The cup therefore full of pure wine in the hand of the Lord, as far as the Lord gives me to understand. The cup of pure wine full of the mixed seems to me to be the law, which was given to the Jews, and all that scripture of the Old Testament, as it is called, there are the weights of all manner of sentences. For therein the New Testament lies concealed, as thou in the drag of corporal sacraments. The circumcision of the flesh is a thing of great mystery, and there is understood from thence the circumcision of the heart. The temple of Jerusalem is a thing of great mystery, and there is understood from it the body of the Lord. The land of promise is understood to be the kingdom of heaven. The sacrifice of victims and of beasts has a great mystery, but in all those kinds of sacrifices is understood that one sacrifice and only victim of the cross, the Lord, instead of all which sacrifices will have one, because even those figured these, that is, with those these were figured. That people received the law, they received commandments just and good. Exodus 21-17. What is so just as you shall not kill, you shall not commit adultery, you shall not steal, you shall not speak false testimony, honor your father and mother, you shall not covet the property of your neighbor, one God you shall adore, and him alone you shall serve. All these things belong to the wine. But those things carnal have as it were sunk down in order that they might remain with them, and there might be poured forth from thence all the spiritual understanding. But the cup in the hand of the Lord, that is, in the power of the Lord, of pure wine, that is, of the mere law, is full of mixed, that is together with the drag of corporal sacraments. And because the one he humbles, the proud Jew, and the other he exalts, the confessing Gentile, he has inclined from this unto this, that is, from the Jewish people unto the people unto the Gentile people. Hath inclined what? The law. There has distilled from thence a spiritual sense. Nevertheless, the drag thereof has not been emptied, for all the carnal sacraments have remained with the Jews. There shall drink all the sinners of the earth. Who shall drink? All the sinners of the earth. Who are the sinners of the earth? The Jews were indeed sinners, but proud. Again, the Gentiles were sinners, but humble. All sinners shall drink, but see, who the drag, who the wine. For those by drinking the drug have come to naught, these by drinking the wine have been justified. I would dare to speak of them even as inebriated, and I shall not fear, and all that you were thus inebriated. Call to mind your cup inebriating, how passing beautiful. But why? Do ye think, my brethren, that all those who, by confessing Christ, even willed to die, were sober? So drunk they were that they knew not their friends, or their kindred, who strove to divert them from the hope of heavenly rewards by earthly allurements, were not acknowledged, were not heard by them drunken. Were they not drunken whose heart had been changed? Were they not drunken whose mind had been alienated from this world? There shall drink, he says, all the sinners of the earth. But who shall drink the wine? Sinners shall drink, but in order that they may not remain sinners, in order that they may be justified, in order that they may not be punished. But I, for all drink, but separately I, that is Christ with his body. Forever will rejoice, I will song to the God of Jacob. Verse 9. In that promise to be at the end, whereof he said, corrupt not, and all the horns of sinners I will break, and there shall be exalted the horns of the just. Verse 10. This is the one he humbles, the other he exalts. Sinners will not have their horns to be broken, which without doubt will be broken at the end. You will not have him then break them, do thou today break them. For you have heard above, do not despise it. I have said to unjust men, do not unjustly, and to the delinquents, do not exalt the horn. When you have heard, do not exalt the horn, you have despised and hast exalted the horn. You shall come to the end, where there shall come to pass, all the horns of sinners I will break, and there shall be exalted the horns of the just. The horns of sinners are the dignities of proud men. The horns of the just are the gifts of Christ. For by horns exaltations are understood. Thou hatest on earth earthly exaltation, in order that you may have the heavenly. Thou lovest the earthly, he does not admit you to the heavenly. And unto confusion will belong your horn which is broken, just as unto glory it will belong if your horn is exalted. Now therefore there is time for making choice, then there will not be. You will not say, I will be let go and will make choice, for there have preceded the words I have said to the unjust. If I have not said, make ready an excuse, make ready a defense, but if I said, seize first upon confession, lest you come unto damnation, for then confession will be too late, and there will be no defense.